Hello again everyone, how are you all? Hope you're all well. Thought I'd make a video today on a subject, well, not subject, a system that I really enjoy. It seems to be in a bit of a minority. It tends to come up on these lists of like the top 5 worst consoles of all time. And granted, yes, there's some bad games in it. Some bad decisions were made, some bad controllers were made for it. But I've got a soft spot. I've got a soft spot for failed systems, but I've got a soft spot for this one. So yeah, gonna talk about it. Talk about a couple of games, and my experience with it as a system. And it's this: the Phillips CDI. This is the model that I have. It's the CDI 450 or 450, wherever you want to say it. And this is the only model I've ever owned, is the top loading one. I know that there are models out there that are like absolutely massive, and like giant VCRs and stuff like that. But my only experience with them is, I think, probably in Dixon's or something like that back in the day. So yeah, talk about Dixon's. That's where I was first exposed to it. I remember we always used to go to a lot of electronic shops and things like that. My dad, he'd always used to go around, and we just used to migrate off and find where the games kiosks were and stuff like that. And I remember playing, it must have been a Mega Drive, because it had the Lion King, and I remember really vividly playing the Lion King, and then right next to it was CDI, and the tennis game was on it. And I remember at the time, as a kid, just looking at it going, that's really cartoony graphics, but wow, look at that looks really real. Didn't know anything about it at the time. I think I played it with, it must have been with the wireless remote, because I remember holding it and it being absolutely massive. But yeah, then I heard nothing about the CDI whatsoever. After that, we got the Amiga and other things like that. And then, years and years later, we were going around a car boot sale. And on one of the stores, I think I've spoken in another video, was a Philips CDI. And it suddenly come back to me. I remember how good the graphics were and everything like that. Well, what I thought they were. And I badgered my dad to get it. As I said, we left, we come back, eventually bought it. And I was really happy with it. I took it home. We had like a small bundle of games with it, and some other things. And I was really happy with it. And then we tried to buy more games. And it must have been after this thing had been discontinued or something, because we could not find CDI games anywhere. I remember getting in the car with him, going from game shop to game shop, going in as, have you got any CDI games? And sort of like people just laughing at you. But yeah, that's why I had the CDI, and I really love it. Over the years, it went missing. I think I managed to find the pad. But then 2 years ago, a friend of mine found this one in a suitcase with some other things at a car boot sale. So both CDIs that I own are both in exactly the same model, and have both come from car boots. And you know what, I love having this in my collection. I really do. I have started picking up a couple of games for it, although I sort of stopped for a while. It's one of those ones that I come back to and I like to play occasionally. I don't sit there and long game, go and go, I'm going to play the CDI. It's little sessions. It's really good for that. But nostalgia, to me, I have a lot of nostalgia for the Philips CDI. I mean, you get people like the angry video game nerds, and they say it's absolutely terrible, no really good games made for it. There's a lot of bad games. The Zelda games are awful. But there are some good games in there. It's one called The Apprentice, a really good platformer one. But it's styled very much like Amiga games. You know, you have to press up to jump, and you have to. But I think in this country you're just used to that. At least in my experience, anyway. Growing up with the Amiga, when people say, "Oh, you got to press up to jump," it means nothing to me. That's just, you know what I mean. I played all the way through Zool and James Pond and everything like that, and just how it was. So yeah, this Philips CDI. There's, if you are going to buy one of these, a couple of things to look out for. There is the really bad thing that the internal battery in it is embedded in one of the chips, and if it goes, it goes. I've never come across that problem, although I heard that some people have. the system can just completely brick itself unless you change the battery. Another one as well is the power supply. Make sure you get one with a power supply. I'll just put this down here, because the power supply, if you can see there, the attachment on the end looks like the end of an old telephone cable. So yeah, make sure you get one of them with it. And then we can go on to pads. And again, I spoke about these in the video. This is the one I had for my system. Absolutely stupidly long cable. As I said, look, it's like, it just keeps going. I've never seen a controller with such a long cable before. And this is just the model that I had. I didn't know any better. I didn't know there was apart from the wireless one, but the wireless one doesn't work with this model. Just doesn't. It has to be a wired one. So yeah, a lot of the games are point and click, and for point and click games, not bad. Really not bad. You know, you can navigate around the screen. You got your buttons either side. But you try and play a platform game on this, or any kind of action game, and you sort of have to hold it in funny ways, and you get cramp in your hand and everything. So it was last year I finally invested. Again, stupidly long cable. I really unwound these before I started. Some of you crying at the screen saying, why have you wrapped the cable round? But stored away like that. Sorry guys. Yeah, this pad, which is sort of like a Mega Drive pad. As you can see, it fits nicely in your hand. When you've gone from this to this, it's an absolute game changer. It really is. You can play the action games. One of my favourite games for the CDI is Hotel Mario, and the rage quit with this pad compared to actually enjoying the game with this one. It really is. It's a must. If you're getting a CDI on games, this is a must. So let's get on to a couple of games. Oh, actually, before we get on to the games, the good thing with the CDI is it comes with the video card thing in there. So this will play music CDs, this will play the games, and it will also play movies, but not DVDs. Just let's try and get this back in here. I'll come onto the movies in a bit. So yeah, not going to kick off to a good start on saying how good the CDI is with Video Speedway. One of them generic sort of like Formula 1 style games, but done in the worst possible way. It is boring. It is, you feel like you're on rails. You feel so disconnected from actually any kind of racing that, do you know what, don't bother. If you see this game, unless you just collected it for the sake of collecting it, leave it alone. Couple of there's the tennis game. That is the one that I remember very fondly in that shop, seeing it on the screen. And the same with, it wasn't at the time, but the golf game. And all these ones literally are just videos of people playing golf, and you just got to hit the swing at the right time. Again, I've never played a tennis game which looks as good as this looks, but again, you don't feel connected to the player. You don't feel, you haven't even got to hit the ball back. You've just got to make sure you're standing where the ball's going to be, and then it just hits it back automatically. You know what I mean? Sounds fun, right? Not. Another one, this is one that came with my original bundle, and I have really good memories of playing my brother with this one, and it's Mystic Midway. Think of it as like a shooting gallery, you know. It's actually really quite a fun game, but it's the video of the guy that comes up and some of the things that he says and the humour and all the rest of it that I really like. I'll probably have to go back and play this for a little while. Yeah, have you noticed as well that the cases, I'm sure you have all got this little handle, but they all open sideways. You know what I mean? As a kid, I always thought it was really weird. Still think it's weird now. This one I picked up recently. I haven't really put any time into this one. Chaos Control. Sort of like generic video style shooter ones where it just goes through the video and all you're moving is the crosshair around. The problem with this is they were trying to push the CD hardware, but at the expense of gameplay. I think that's the key thing with some of the CDI games. They were so focused on, wow, we can put this video into a game. They never stopped to think, should we? It's the same as all CD-based systems, really, in my opinion. Like the unpopular as it may be, I'm not a fan of the Sega CD for the same reason. There's so many games out there like that are just they don't play well. They look nice but don't play well. What have we got down here? Yeah, we're going to get onto them in a minute. For a really good game though, and you wouldn't think it would be as good as it is, Tetris. Tetris on the CDI is one of the most relaxing games you'll ever play. The music in this, and again taking full advantage of the CD, the music in this is so chilled and relaxed. The scenery around the actual play field changes. I mean, it's just Tetris. You know what I mean? I'd say, how can you get Tetris wrong? But I've seen people get it wrong. But this is a really good game. Really worth having a go with that. Lemmings on the Phillips CDI. Again, plays really well. It's Lemmings, you know what I mean? So it's the point and click. It's really easy to move around the screen. There was actually a mouse for the CDI as well, but I've never come across one of them. So I feel like point and click games, I'm sure that'd be a hell of a lot better. But it's got some really good music in this with Lemmings. And just really good gameplay. Very recommend picking that one up. Not one I've always had but never really got into playing. Seventh Guest. Again, your point and click sort of like survival, I think. You know what I mean? I can't really say much about this because it's just Seventh Guest. As I say on the front there, it's got CDI digital video cartridge required. You know what I mean? So you used to get that on a lot of them. It just wouldn't play because it's got the video. One of the biggest disappointments for me was this next game, because I love the series. And when I looked at a little bit of a clip of it before I bought it, I thought, wow, that's great. This game with really good sound and really good music. And then I played it. Micro Machines. Again, how do you think that can mess up Micro Machines? It's Micro Machines. It used to run on like 8-bit systems and things like that. Simple frame rate. The frame rate is like 3 frames a second. The worst thing is, it's until you start driving. Everything up until you start driving runs really smooth. The music's really nice and everything else. And as soon as it says go, you just watch your cars doing this up the screen and turning. And it is painful, because for such a good game and for what could have been a really good seller on the system, they just messed it up. They really did. I spoke about this one before, and this again is the actual copy with it, and I think this is sort of like a killer app for this, is Burn Cycle. If you've not played Burn Cycle, again, really, really, really good music. The fact that this actually comes with a soundtrack, a CD soundtrack in with it, shows how much they thought of the music in this game. You start off as like a first person, and you've got to kill everyone. You make your way to your ship, and then you've got to turn it. It's a shooter. But it always stood out to the case, the artwork on the cover, the music, everything about this. I really, really like. I still do to this day. I will still quite happily play this to this day, even though mine is sadly, I can see, starting to succumb to a bit of disc rot, which will be a sad day when this one doesn't play. It really will. Good thing about the CDI is copy games, backups, because of course I've got Hotel Mario. Yeah, oh, I probably can't see on there. Hotel Mario. I spoke about the Zelda games. Hotel Mario was the other Nintendo game that was on there. And it's sort of like old style arcade game where it's like a single screen. You got to go across. I'm sure you've all seen it, where you got to close the doors and jump on the enemies and all that. Gets a bad rap. really, really addictive, fun game. Horrible cutscenes. You know what I mean? The intro and everything at the beginning is mocked constantly, and so it should be, because it is really bad. But for your old arcade, the thing is, for a good arcade style, it wasn't pushing the hardware of this. It really wasn't. But it's a fun, addictive game. It really is. I'll quickly go through these because there's no point shedding much light on them. You've got your hell of a lot of educational games and like your paint games and stuff like that. There was even more on here, wasn't there? Hang on. Yeah. Like National Geographic, shark attacks. It's just more of just showing off the actual video capability of these. The CDI was very heavy on education. It really was. And it was also, although I wish I'd get some more of these, because I'd like my movies. The Random Nerd Chat, which group that's on, people have been talking a lot about different movies and everything else and different formats, which don't come up very often. And one that I think gets overlooked quite a lot is the Phillips CDI. The Phillips CDI for movies was actually really good. And to be honest, I think I might go and watch this one a bit later on. I mean, how retro can you get to watching Wayne's World on a Philips CDI on a CRT TV? Yeah, the quality of these movies is not the best. Think of it as more of VHS on a CD. That's the kind of level of quality you're going to get. But there was a lot of movies out there. One of the movies which I need to find again, which I had with my wonder, was Scrooged. And it really introduced me to that movie. Just such a really good movie. I haven't watched it for a long time. This one's a bit of an odd one. It's going to be the last one now. And it's hang on, falling apart. Escape. Right, and I picked this up at a game festival a couple of months back. Oh, yeah, actually, months back, last year. Because, you know, time flies. And it's Escape, and I'll just read what it says on the back here. It says, "Welcome to the future. Escape is a unique entertainment experience which delivers club mix and visual directly into your own home. The disc introduces you to 8 hardcore techno tracks from some of the most respected artists on the club scene, with scrolling effects." Yeah, so I don't even think I've loaded this up. I'm going to have to, you know. If it's any good, I will put up another link or another little video just showing off a couple of these, because it sounds interesting. And hardcore techno tracks on the CDI. Who would have thought it? So yeah, the video's been going on for a little while. My videos are getting a bit long. Try to keep them under 10 minutes, but it's not happening anymore. Yeah, this is the CDI. In my opinion, does not deserve the reputation that it gets as like the worst system of all time. It's not the best, but I definitely don't think it's the worst. Probably really bad selling, but yeah, I like it. Do you like the Philips CDI? Yeah. What games have you got? What memories have you got with it? Do you still own one? Do you still play one? So yeah, I'm going to start waffling now, and I'm probably going to hook this up and see what is on that Escape DVD, that Escape game. So again, everyone, thanks for watching, listening to me rambling on, and all of you, stay safe, look after yourselves.